Oh, you didn't know? Fourth stimulus, here we go. Now, this stimulus is designed to track the American people and put you in financial and tax debt. Now, that's incredible. It's crazy. And it is very unfortunate what the American government / tax system is currently doing. Because we have a system where they're using these stimulus checks against you. And in this video on Privacy X, we're going to break down exactly how. Operation It's a Trap. So if you live in America and you are alive, you know that we've had multiple stimulus checks. They've rolled out in different ways, different amounts of money, different amounts of months in between getting them for some Americans who qualified. And now it's getting interesting. So you may have seen at the end of the last administration, they tried to do this tax deferral where you could defer some taxes out of your paycheck, but then you had to pay it back the following year, which is ridiculous. Well, the new administration, keep in mind, these are two totally different administrations. Now, I've said this for years. Republicans and Democrats are literally only there to divide you. They don't matter. It's the same thing, okay? One leans a little bit on these topics. One leans a little bit on these topics. Any rational, listen to what I have to say here. Any rational and reasonable person would understand that there is no one size fits all. I don't care if we're talking about abortion. I don't care if we're talking about climate change. I don't care if we're talking about gun rights. I don't care if we're talking about anything. There's no one size fits all solution. That's not how the world works. There's always pros and cons to everything. And the government knows that, and they play the American people because a lot of American people are stupid. Their heads are stuck in the clouds, and they don't understand, and they're so loyal to the red or the blue, not the red, white, and blue. No, the red or the blue, the donkeys or the elephants, they're so loyal that they don't understand what's going on. Two administrations, one agenda, track the American people. Now, I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat, it does not matter. And the sooner you realize that, the better off you'll be in life. Now, this system with the new stimulus is pretty interesting. They're talking about a new stimulus. The last stimulus, what they're doing, they're trying to get people in the IRS system. They want you on automatic direct deposit in the IRS system, and they want you to have a card on file. Why? Because of the Patriot Act and the bank laws. You're going to want to watch this video at the end because I'm going to break it down for you. Also, I'm talking about this in my recent podcast episode, Privacy X Podcast. Go check it out because I break this stuff down in depth over there as well. And you can subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. We're everywhere. But the interesting thing about the stimulus is they're trying to get people on the IRS system. Reason being, the Patriot Act has a bunch of laws in place and a bunch of rules in place that the bank system has to know their customer. There's the know your customer rules, and there's the Patriot Act where you can't have anything anonymous. So if you want to do anonymous bank, even through LLCs and through dummy corps, shelf corps, I talk about how to create ghost companies at Privacy X. You can check that out. I did a video here on YouTube, and I've also done videos over at Privacy X. But even at that, there will be a layer where the government can figure it out, which is fine, But the problem with putting everyone in the system is it puts all these Americans in one central database. Do you realize one of the main reasons you have all the freedoms you have is because the United States has 50 individual states plus a few territories, which allows state law, federal law, local law, county, city, just so many different gray areas, so many different areas, which allows you to mold a life, freedom, based on your interests, right? Some states are more pro-gun, some states are more pro-state parks, some states are more pro-gay rights, some states are more, there are different areas that are more pro certain things. When we have one central government database, this is a problem. Now, a lot of people say, oh, Cody, the NSA, the FBI, the CIA, they do not work well together. They never have. There's never been one central database, ever. In the history of the United States, there's never been one central database. We have massive databases. The FBI has them. The NSA has supercomputers, quantum computing. The CIA, oh, they don't do nothing. They're never operational in America. Secret Service, yeah, right. There's about 50 alphabet agencies, many of which you've never even heard of, that are operational at all times against the American people for your safety. Don't worry, it's for your safety. You better be all sleep good at night. ABC, XYZ. They're looking out for you and me. Like a Barney song, only with nightmares at the end. So the reality is, when you look at this government database, they're using the stimulus check to build a government database. It's putting all the people in this IRS system, and basically for the first time in history, it's going to have everybody, right? They're getting as close to everyone as possible. And they're using your money against you. And then comes the mark of the beast. I don't care if you believe in the Bible or not. It is weird, the coincidences, how similar, like, whoa. Like, the reality is they're using the system to get you on the government system, to get you in the government database. And then they'll have all your information, your data, your addresses, where you live, what you do, et cetera, et cetera. The amount of data they have is about 10x the credit report. Now, you may be thinking, well, Cody, they already have information because people pay taxes. Yes, most people pay taxes, correct. However, if you've ever owned a company, if you've ever paid taxes, the way you structure personal returns and corporate returns, S corporation, C corporation, LLC, sole proprietor, there are so many different factions to this that it doesn't allow to make one central database, because it doesn't include the bank system in the same way, especially people who owe. It doesn't include so many pieces to this database. So I would say yes, things like the IRS, things like the FBI have had databases for years, but not at this level, not even close, even the IRS. Because when they're giving out free money, your money, they're allowing you access. Meanwhile, they're giving these international corporations trillions. But don't worry, they're giving you little droplets of money, of your own money. They're collecting more data than the money's worth. And at a certain point, you've put all of your information in the system for the stimulus check. And they're actually making it hard to get the third stimulus check unless you were on file with the IRS. The second stimulus check, basically nobody got unless you had all your data and information on file properly with the IRS. The third one made it a little harder. The fourth one is talking about mandating, and they're also talking about mandating, for the first time in history, you have to get an immune passport, which I did a video on this in depth, so I highly recommend you, if you watch any of my videos, watch that video. I'll link it up here in the cards. But they've talked about not allowing people to get stimulus checks if they don't have a shot, which is against all aspects of the Constitution, but at this point they don't care. So it's about collecting a massive central database on people. And again, I think the reason this is so easy for the government to do is many people already assume, because you've watched these weak Hollywood movies and you think they don't have a central database in that regards. Again, if you've ever been booked or arrested, of course you're in the system. If you haven't, you're not in the system. Like 100 million people are not even in the system. So then you're like, okay, what about paying taxes? Again, little pieces of your information. Even my credit report doesn't have 90, like my credit report doesn't have my real phone number. It's got a burner number. My credit report doesn't have my real address, which is, because they can't find it. They don't know it. My credit report doesn't have almost any real information. It's real in a fashion, but it's not my home address. It's not my real phone number. It's my real name and social security number tied to companies I own, and if I do or don't have credit at the time. Like, oh, he's got this American Express, and oh, he's got this whatever, XYZ. That's it. The IRS has a similar database to the credit reports. But this new stimulus database, which is not the official name, it's not the stimulus database, it actually doesn't officially have a public name, is creating a database unlike other because it's linking your real identity, verifiable with the bank system and the bank documents to the federal government, which should be a outrage because the government works for you. When they have this database, they can do anything they want to do. This is a central problem. This has always been the fundamental problem. Local police, state police, FBI. Ask any cop what kind of a pain in the you-know-what it is. They all have to big league each other. They all have to try to work together, which is tough to do. That's good for Americans. The fact that we have these different databases is good. When there's one central database and you're in it, which basically everyone's going to be in it because they're using the one thing you want, which is free money to get you in it, they can literally do anything they want. This isn't conspiracies. This isn't pie in the sky. This is facts. And it's a very unfortunate thing. So will there be a fourth stimulus check? I wouldn't be surprised if there's a fourth, fifth, and sixth, because this allows them to get what they want. And whenever they don't think they're getting what they want, they pull back. Oh, there won't be a stimulus. And then they say, well, you know, give identity, give immune passport, turn over your medical records. Okay, put that all in the database. Turn over your bank information to the IRS. Okay, stuff that. They're going to have every piece of information about you in one database. To use medical, watch my immune passport video. To use medical to stop you from buying groceries or to stop you from getting a stimulus check or to stop you from traveling is ridiculous. They've already talked about setting up checkpoints from state to state, which is unconstitutional. We are one country. But they don't care. They don't care. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this stuff. They're building a central database with everything in it. And this is the cost of these stimulus checks. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but if I were, I can't fault a lot of these people for some of the stuff they're talking about right now, because this is insanity. So understand as you put the information. Now, what can you do? Because on Privacy X, it's not just about spreading bad news. It's about what can you do? Well, if you create a Ghost LLC, if you create a company, if you do all your business under a company, if you buy everything through an anonymous LLC, like something, for example, Wyoming, if you create Ghost LLCs like I talk about on Privacy X or my Privacy X podcast, and, you know, if you start structuring your life to compartmentalize, it's going to help. Now, is it going to stop? No, because the fact is, once they have your bank information, you're tied to your social security, tied to your real name, you can dummy your address. Okay, my bank doesn't have my real address. The government doesn't hack me. Now, could they find me? Of course. I'm not some super underworld spy. But I compartmentalize everything I do. I recommend you do the same. Because the fact is, they're building a central database in the name of stimulus checks, and pretty soon it's going to come back to bite every single one of us. So keep that in mind when you're getting your free money that's already yours. When they act like they're doing you a favor. They work for you! But somehow you forgot that, and now you're allowing them to do whatever. Where's the outrage? Where are the committees demanding oversight? There isn't any. Where are the government committees demanding that we look into this, demanding that this is unconstitutional? There isn't any. Of course not. Doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. None of these people are for you. You have to be for you if you want to be able to have, I don't know, a future at all. Anyway, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, click the thumbs up, putting out new videos all the time here on Privacy X. Go check out privacyxproject.com, and I'll see you guys in the next video.